I think of myself as a saloon singer, and a good saloon singer must come with everything. He's got to play some jazz and fool around with a ballad and sing a waltz and dip into this and be a tiny bit risque sometimes and sing a tired old barroom song or sing the song of the day. And I've always liked jazz, grew up with jazz. And Mother didn't allow the blues in the house too much because the blues in the 1920s and 30s were always just a bit off color, you see. When Bessie Smith hauled up and sang the blues, there was always too much innuendo about my man and my empty bed. I'm not a blues singer at all, but I certainly admire the blues singers of the world. And one dirty window blues. React. I got the four walls and one dirty window blues. If I had saved my money when I was young and well, I wouldn't be up here sweating in this cheap hotel. I got the four walls and one dirty window blue. I'm gonna cut your throat, drink your blood like wine, suffer, cut your throat, darling, you fool, guzzle down your blood like cherry wine. Then I'll take your dead head and throw it at your dead behind. Your eyes are lighted windows. There's a party going on inside. Your eyes are lighted windows. There's a party going on inside. Your mouth's a roller coaster, and I want to take a ride. I got the walls, one dirty window blue. One dirty window blue. If I had saved my money when I was young and well, I wouldn't be up here sweating in this cheap hotel. I got the four walls and one dirty window blue. Thank you. Let's have a good night. Thank you. I love you, Samantha, and my love will never die. Remember, Samantha, I'm a one gal guy. Together, Samantha, we can ride a star and ride it high. Remember, Samantha, I'm a one gal guy. And if some distant day you decided to say, get along, get away, goodbye, remember, Samantha, I'm a one gal guy. decided to say, get along, get away, goodbye. Remember, Samantha, I'm a one-gal guy. Remember, Samantha, I'm a one-gal guy. I began performing in an amateur way when I was just in knee pants in kindergarten, and from then on to the first grade. When I was 11, I was discovered, as they put it in magazines, by two agents from Chicago, and I struck out in 1936 under their wings and began to perform in vaudeville. I've always sung, I began to sing popular songs in the 1930s and sang popular songs in vaudeville. My inclination was always towards songs that were very, very grown up and very sophisticated, too much so for a little boy with a white tail suit on. Every honeybee's filled with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle Rose. When you're passing by, flowers droop and sigh. I know the reason why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows. The honeysuckle rose. I don't buy sugar. You just have to touch my cup. You're my sugar. It's sweet when you stir it up, when I'm taking sips from those tasty lips, how the honey fairly drips. Your confection, goodness knows, honeysuckle rose. When my sugar walks down the street, little birdies go tweet, tweet, tweet. And in the evening when the sun goes down, it's never dark when she's around. She's affectionate, and I'll say this, kisses me and I sure stays kissed. When my sugar walks down the street, the little birdies go tweet, tweet, tweet. Shut your mouth, baby. We could have a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Cause you're the cutest one. You're so sweet, you're so neat. When you're walking down the street, all the fellas cry, baby, you're the cutest one. I don't buy sugar. You just have to touch my cup. You're my sugar. It's sweet when you stir it up, when I'm taking sips from those tasty lips, how the honey fairly drips. Your confection, goodness knows, honeysuckle rose. Your perfection, goodness knows, honeysuckle rose. Your perfection, goodness knows, honeysuckle rose. Thank you, Beverly. You're just too marvelous for words, like glorious, glamorous, and that old standby, amorous. You're just too wonderful. I'll never find the words that say enough, tell enough. I mean, they're just not swell enough. You're just too much and just too very, very to ever be in Webster's dictionary. And so I'm borrowing a love song from the birds to tell you that you're marvelous, too marvelous for words. You're just too much and just too very, very to ever be in Webster's dictionary. And so I'm borrowing a love song from the birds to tell you that you're marvelous, too marvelous for I think that I must have performed for the reason that most performers perform. I had some talent, but I also wanted the attention. I think most performers want the attention. Nobody's ever gone into that very deeply, but there's something psychological about it, I suppose. We've all wanted to be noticed in some kind of way. And so you go out and you perform and you're noticed, and you are consequently loved, which is a simpler way of putting it. Ask anyone up Harlem way who that guy Bojangles is. They may not know who's president, but ask them who Bojangles is. He's the most entrancing business in what they call the dancing business. When there's a beat out the street, brother, gonna blow your dough. Since you know that ain't no one but Bo. Bojangles of Harlem, you dance such hot stuff. Young folks love you in Harlem. They say you've got stuff. Tough guys rumba out of pool rooms, and kids start trucking out of school rooms. Oh, Bojangles of Harlem, the whole town's at your heels, leaving their flats, missing their meals, running like rats, going astray. Throw those long legs away. Young folks love you in Harlem. They say you've got stuff. Tough guys walk out of pool rooms, and kids start trucking out of school rooms. Towns at your heels, leaving their flats, missing their meals, running like rats, going astray. Throw those long legs away. In every small town there existed at one point a Ritz hotel. In every small town there was also a nightclub called the Cotton Club. Now sometimes the club is over in this room, and sometimes they only had one girl to dance and one person to sing or play the piano. It was called the Cotton Club, nevertheless. And I grew up under that aegis. I mean, I grew up with broadcasts from the Cotton Club and the Grand Terrace and Joe's Deluxe and all of that. And I was aware of that kind of entertainment all of my childhood. And so I remember learning the scores or learning the songs from each new edition of the Cotton Club when I was a child. And I came to New York in 1937, just in time to meet Duke Ellington, who was then composing his score for the 1937 Cotton Club Review. And the songs were fascinating. They're almost like American folklore today, you know. She's tall, she's tan, she's terrific. Yes, sir. That's almost a camp, isn't it? She's tall, she's tan, she's terrific. Yes, sir. That's Streamlined Lulubelle from Tennessee. I'll say, you'll say, she's terrific. Yes, sir. When she turns on that Harlem personality to set you right, she's dynamite. 3 words describe her charms galore. Just 3 words, I don't mean 4. She's tall, she's tan, and she's terrific. Yes, sir. That's Streamlined Lulubelle from Tennessee. Here's a dance that you can do. Let me introduce to you Posin'. Everybody pose. It's a dance you can dance with your girl or wife. Find a pose, then stop. Positions, everything in life. You'll find there's no telling when folks will stop and pose again. Posing, everybody pose. We had to have something new, a dance to do up here in Harlem. Someone's gonna Truckin. As soon as the news got round, the folks downtown came up to Harlem saw everybody trucking. It didn't take long before the hi-hats were doing it, Park Avenue doing it, all over town. You'll see them shuffling, scuffling, trucking on down. It spread like a forest blaze, became a craze, thanks to Harlem now. Everybody's trucking. Society sits and dines at the Ritz. When they want the ham and grits, they all go to breakfast. Breakfast in Harlem. Society sits and don't give a damn, but when they want the grits and ham, they all go to breakfast. Breakfast in Harlem. Oh, that Harlem gives me Sunday headaches. I got old man Harlem in my bones. Always finds me dancing when the day breaks. I've got old man Harlem in my bones. He takes all my dough and leaves me skimping. Makes me old and gray before I'm limping. Old man Harlem gives me Sunday headaches. That old man Harlem keeps me going on. It didn't take long before the hi-hats were doing it, Park Avenue doing it, all over town. You'll see them shuffling, scuffling, trucking on down. It spread like a forest blaze, became a craze. Thanks to Harlem now. Thanks to Harlem now. Thanks to Harlem now. Everybody's shuffling, scuffling, trucking on. difficult to choose a favorite song or a favorite composer. What I do is a craft, after all, and there are nights when I don't feel like doing it at all because I'm a human being, and I have to go ahead and do it. And I find that one of the things I can always find the courage to do without pressing myself too much, and at the same time allowing for its importance to the audience, is a song by Cole Porter called Why Shouldn't I? Which isn't to say that the song is my favorite song or Cole Porter is my favorite composer, but the song always works for me and generally for the audience as well. All my life I've been so secluded, love has eluded me, but from knowing secondhand what I'd do of it, I feel certain I could stand a closer view of it. Till today I studied love discreetly, but now that I'm completely free, I must find some kind persona grata to give me data personally. Why shouldn't I take a chance when romance passes by? Why shouldn't I know of love? Why wait around when each age has a sage who has found that upon this earth love is all that is really worth thinking of? It must be fun, lots of fun, to be sure when day is done, that the hour is coming when you'll be kissed and then you'll be kissed again. All debutantes say it's good, and every star out in far Hollywood seems to give it a try. So why shouldn't I? Shouldn't I know of love? Why wait around when each age has a sage who has found that upon this earth love is all that is really worth thinking of? It must be fun, lots of fun, to be sure when day is done, that the hour is coming when you'll be kissed and then you'll be kissed again. Miss Peggy Joyce says it's good, and every star out in far Hollywood seems to give it a try. So why shouldn't I? Thank you. Thank you, Lord.
Out of the tree of life I just picked me a plum. You came along and everything started to hum. Still it's a really good bet, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? You think you've seen the sun, but you ain't seen it shine. Till the warm-up's underway, wait till I draw you near. Wait till you've seen that sunshine day, ain't nothing like it here. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet to come the day you're mine. Come the day you're mine. I'm gonna teach you to fly. We've only tasted the wine. We're gonna drain the cup dry. Wait till your charms are ripe for these arms to surround. You think you've flown before, but you ain't left the ground. Wait till you're locked in my embrace. Wait till our lips have met. Wait till you've seen that sunshine place. You ain't seen nothing yet. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet to come the day you're mine. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet to come the day you're mine. Come the day you're mine. We're gonna see the sunshine. The best is yet to come. Come the day you're mine. Thank you.
One of the first lessons one learns in any kind of performance is to get his performance up to a certain level, no matter what level the audience is at. And they call that professionalism, I suppose. And anything above that is gravy for you, because you know that you're always at this level. You're always at, shall we say, 10 Celsius. And after that, it's all gravy. Anything below that is not to be regarded as very good. So I'm always struggling to get it up at least to a certain level. And if the audience is marvelous, if I feel particularly good, or if I've just gotten some marvelous news, or if somebody walks in that I like very, very much, it can be 20 Celsius, or 30, or 150, you see. But it must always be at this level of perfection. What I see for myself in the future is divided into two portions. I see remaining in New York at least half the year. I love New York a great deal. It's been very good to me, and I intend to stay here because I like the town, the people. But I think that traveling around is going to be more and more part of my career, more and more part of my life as the years go by. About New York, I think it's the most exciting place in the world today. Other towns are cleaner. Others are more beautiful, perhaps. Others can offer a quieter life or a safer life. But I think nothing can match New York in terms of its excitement, what it gives to the individual who's willing to give something back.
Today I feel New York is really my personal property. Right down Broadway to City Hall. Every supermarket, every 5 and 10, the Lincoln Center and the great UN, it's all my personal property. The zoo in Central Park is merely my private menagerie. I've carved my name on every tree, from the Yonkers Raceway down to Bowling Green. Everything around it, all the in-between, it's all my personal property. The planetarium is mine alone. The old aquarium I also own. And since today I feel New York is really my personal property, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Since I like you very much, so very, very much, I'm gonna split it with you. Today I feel New York is really my personal property. Right down Broadway to City Hall. Every supermarket, every 5 and 10, the Lincoln Center and the great UN, it's all my personal property. The zoo in Central Park is merely my private menagerie. I've carved my name on every tree, from the Yonkers Raceway down to Bowling Green. All around it, all the in-between, it's all my personal property. The planetarium is mine alone. The old aquarium I also own. And since today I feel New York is really my personal property, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Since I like you very much, so very, very much, I'm gonna split it with you. Since I like you very much, so very, very much, I'm gonna split it with you. Thank you. In Italy, the signori are so very amatori that their passion a priori is amor. And in Napoli and Pisa, every man has on his knees a little private Mona Lisa to adore. Is it always amor? Si, sempre amore. The result is when Italians meet a friend along the way, instead of saying, how's your health, they say, how's your romance? How is it going? Waning or glowing? How's your romance? Does she or not love you an awful lot? Cold, tepid, warm, or hot? How's your romance? Do you, from the moment you met her, swear that you will never forget her? Do you, when she sends you a letter, begin to go into a dance? Break me the news, I'm with you, win or lose. Please tell me how's and who's your romance. Do you, from the moment you met him, swear that you will to let him begin to go into a dance. Break me the news, I'm with you win or lose. Please tell me how and who's your romance.
Thank you. I learned all of my basic Ellington and Jerome Kern and Gershwin songs before I was 18, as a matter of fact. Well, our idols in Illinois were always people like Bing Crosby, who was, of course, a national figure, people like Duke Ellington and Cab Calloway, ladies like Gertrude Neeson were known because of their nightclub appearances in Chicago nearby. Ethel Waters was somebody we only saw very rarely in motion pictures, but we were aware of the Boswell sisters and, of course, the Mills brothers. Well, I always saw myself entertaining, and, of course, with lights and music and action, because in those days, our main source was the radio, which, of course, was the big band sound, and movies. And movies in the 1930s were spectacular. I mean, that was a Depression time in America, and I suppose the most flagrant kind of antidote for depression was a big, rich movie. Finding new songs in the 1940s was very easy because there were always Broadway shows being produced, and produced with songs by people I consider the big 3 or 4 of American popular songs. The Gershwins were, George was gone, but Ira was still producing scores from time to time with people like Kurt Weill and Arthur Schwartz. We indeed had Schwartz indeed in those days. We had, of course, Cole Porter, and Jerry Kern was still writing songs, Jerome Kern, that is, forgive me, Mr. Kern, and Rodgers and Hart were around. And so you had these brilliant scores coming out of Broadway every season. As a performer in supper clubs, I couldn't wait for the new season to arrive when all the new songs would be coming forth, and one would rifle through them and see, can I sing this, can I sing that, will this suit me, will that not suit me? It was a marvelous kind of exciting period. Today the pickings are indeed lean because in answer to the public demand, there are less and less songs of that level being composed.
I'm satisfied just to be at your side with all the bliss I ever hoped to find. I'm satisfied deep in your arms to hide and feel the kiss that brings me peace of mind. Am I contented when I'm with you? Yes, indeed. Your love for me is all the food and drink I need. The world is wide and we'll drift with our tide, just as long as you're mine. I'm satisfied. Am I contented when I'm with you? Yes, indeed. Your love for me is all the food and drink I need. The world is wide just as long as you're mine, I'm satisfied. The world is wide, and we'll drift with the tide, just as long as you're mine. I'm satisfied. Thank you. Thank you very much. When in Spain, for reasons I can't explain, I remain enjoying a brew. Don't deplore my fondness for fundador. You know how a fundador can lead to a few. And baby, when in Rome, I do like the Romans do. If perchance I'm saying farewell to France, and romance drops in from the blue, cher amour, I beg of you, please endure my making a brief detour with somebody new. It's just that when in Rome, I do like the Romans do. And if in Italy I lie to you prettily, don't think of me bitterly, you know that I'm true. It's just that when in Rome, I get that old yen in Rome, and naturally then in Rome, I do like the Romans do. If I ride happily, best wishes from Napoli, don't cable me snappily to tell me we're through. 'Cause once again in Rome, in somebody's den in Rome, well, pussycat den in Rome, I do like the Romans do. Once again in Rome, in somebody's den in Rome, well, naturally then in Rome, I do like the Romans, disregard the signs and the omens, then in Rome I do like the Romans do.
Favorite performers in town is Mabel Mercer, but Mabel has the same schedule that I have, and so I can't see her very often. I've been to see Hugh Shannon, whom I adore, and other performers around town when I get the chance. But I'll tell you something, very frankly. Keeping this little package together does not always include rushing around town to sit in other smoke-filled rooms and watch my colleagues perform. One of the great joys about performing material that is not well known is that people who have fondnesses for obscure material will often bring it to you. In this case, a friend of mine brought me on the Amazon an old tape recorded by a man named Bobby Howes, who gave us, of course, Sally Howes, the performer. Bobby was a great performer in England in the 1930s and the 20s, I guess. And I took the lyrics off the record, which is very, very tested business because, as you know, the lyric is very complicated. I know who wrote the song, and I can't even think of their names. Well, Vivian Ellis was involved in it, and Vivian Ellis has written a lot for the English stage. And there were two other writers as well.
There's a danger zone, not a stranger zone, than a little plot I wot of that I call my own, filled with eerie sights, weird and scary sights. Every vicious animal that creeps and crawls and bites on the Amazon, the hypodermics howl on the Amazon, the prophylactics prowl on the Amazon. You'll see a scarab scowl and a sting, zodiacs on the wing, all the stalactites and vicious vertebrae join the stalagmites with laryngitis spray, all the acolytes that come from Paroquet in spring. Starving equinox among the rocks will seize you, and the Fahrenheit comes out at night to freeze you. Wild duodenums are lurking in the trees, and the jungle swarms with green-eyed ceroses. Oh, the Amazon is calling on the Amazon. The Pax Vobiscum bite on the Amazon. The epiglottis fight on the Amazon. The hemispheres at night all slink where the agnostics drink. All the metronomes that lie concealed in mud join the hippodromes that swim in swamp and flood. Then the Kodachromes come out and drink their blood. Poor ginks, wild velocipedes among the weeds will scare you, and the metaphors with hungry jaws and snare you. Frenzied adenoids infest the hills and slopes. Everyone avoids the deadly stethoscopes. Oh, the Amazon is calling. Oh, 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 oh.
My Bechstein piano. Well, I'd wanted one, I guess, from the day I first heard about it. It was an affectation until I went into Baldwin, where they're sold here in New York, and played one, and then, of course, I fell in love. My Bechstein is, I guess, about the second size up, because Bechsteins aren't measured by the same size as other grand pianos of the world are. And it is, I think, a great, I call it my Rolls Royce, quite frankly. It's like getting into Rolls because you feel like you're a great driver, and of course you really aren't at all. The Rolls is a great car. Well, I live here with a number of things that I like a great deal, and I have a very, very small collection of African art, a few sculptures around here, and I have, I think, some very exciting canvases. There's a large acrylic behind my piano, which is enormous. It's by my friend Rodolfo de Juan, and he paints in the style of Motherwell and so forth. Sometimes I don't go near my piano at all. It sits there and I feel ashamed. It's like having a Rolls Royce in the garage and never driving it. Sometimes my day is so busy, or I'm so worn out that I hit the piano for the first time when I get to Carlyle. And for this I'm always sad, but that's the way life has to go. Many concert pianists don't practice every day. Many concert pianists don't bother to learn new material.
Hip hooray, I feel delighted. Yesterday I was invited to a swell affair. All the movie stars were there. Oh, what fun! The party lasted till the break of dawn. Famous players turned to cabareters, how they fooled and carried on while dancing at that moving picture ball. Some scenario, great big stars paraded around the hall. They were Mario, handsome Wallace Reed, stepped out full of speed. Theda Barra was a terror, she vamped the little lady. So did Alice Brady. Douglas Fairbanks shimmied on one hand, like an acrobat. Mary Pickford did a toe dance grand. And Sennett's bathing girls were there. Each one was a little bear, dancing at that moving picture ball. Every girl, a handsome looker, had a dance with Adolph Zukor. Mr. Thomas Ince stepped around just like a prince. William Fox and Jesse Lasky came to join the fun. Big directors mingled with the actors, how the whole bunch seemed like one while. Douglas Fairbanks shimmied on one hand, like an acrobat. Mary Pickford did a toe dance grand. And Charlie Chaplin with his feet stepped all over poor Blanche Sweet, dancing at that moving picture ball. Say it isn't so. Say it isn't so. Everyone is saying you don't love me. Say it isn't so. Everywhere I go, everyone I know whispers that you're growing tired of me. Say it isn't so. People say that you found somebody new, and it won't be long before you leave me. Say it isn't true. Say that everything is still okay. That's all I want to know. And what they're saying, say it isn't so. Everyone is saying you don't love me. Say it isn't so. Everywhere I go, everyone I know whispers that you're growing tired of me. say it isn't so. People say that you found somebody new, and it won't be long before you leave me. Say it isn't true. Say that everything is still okay. That's all I want to know. And what they're saying, say it isn't so. Say it isn't so. Everywhere you go, say it isn't so.
Mr. Paul has been a favorite of mine since my very, very early childhood, and it's odd to realize that the American public, the average man on the street found himself whistling and singing complicated songs like Anything Goes and so forth back in the 1930s. Now, those are not easy songs to whistle or sing, and yet every bumpkin on the streets of America was whistling and humming his way through those songs, and so, of course, I knew all those songs, too. When I grew old enough to sing some of them with conviction and intelligence, I sang them in public. Well, today, I've found great, and I put it, great solace in the works of Stephen Sondheim.
I have much longer to go, and I'm going to do a song by Stephen Sondheim called "Losing My Mind." Then I'm going to do a French song by Cole Porter called "Pilote-moi," and that means pistols in order, fellows. And don't dig around for them when the time comes. They're going to be right there. We're going to do a song by Irving Berlin called Cuba. And so that'll just about get it, I think. What? What? Avant, la chanson, c'est quoi? The sun comes up, I think about you. The coffee cup, I think about you. I want you so, it's like I'm losing my mind. The morning ends, I think about you. I talk to friends and think about you. And do they know it's like I'm losing my mind? All afternoon doing every single chore, the thought of you stays bright. Sometimes I stand in the middle of the floor, not going left, not going right. I dim the lights and think about you. Spend sleepless nights to think about you. You said you loved me, or were you just being kind? Or am I losing my mind? I think about you. I think about you. I want you so. It's like I'm losing my mind. The morning ends, I think about you. I talk to friends and think about you. And do they know it's like I'm losing my mind. Afternoon, doing every single chore. The thought of you stays in mind. Sometimes I stand in the middle of the floor, not going left, not going right. I dim the lights and think about you. Spend sleepless nights to think about. You said you loved me, or were you just being kind? Or am I losing my You said you loved me, or were you just being kind? Or am I losing my
I knew Cole Porter very briefly and very formally. I met him in the 1940s while he was looking around for a second cast of Kiss Me Kate. Kiss Me Kate for Mr. Porter was like a rejuvenation because he'd had a series of not such large successes, and Kiss Me Kate came forward and he became America's hero all over again. And he came to California to find a second cast for the show, and I met him because I was accompanying a young lady who wanted to sing the part that Lisa Kirk sang in the Broadway edition.
You sing a song by Cole Porter called Pilote-moi. Where did you find that song?
But it's interesting about that song. It was written for a revue, produced in Paris at the old Les Ambassadeurs, which existed in the 1930s and 40s. Porter and his wife, Linda, lived in France for a very long time, and I think that while Linda was not particularly, how can I put it, for I should say, against his career in songwriting, because she was, after all, a very rich lady, and why should her husband have to work? I think she had other ideas for him within the music world. Linda was very elegant and very stylish, and I think she thought that writing songs or writing music in a dilettante kind of fashion was more in keeping with her idea of music. They lived in Paris for a very long time, which was a very snobbish thing to do and a very chic, sophisticated thing to do, and they had some very, very grand friends over there, of course, and some lovely houses because they both had brilliant taste. But Porter wrote a lot for the French during those days and despaired of being a success in his home country. And Pilote-moi was written for a revue called La Revue des Ambassadeurs, which was produced in the old Les Ambassadeurs in the 1930s. I ran across a score of that many, many years ago, and I learned Pilote-moi, or Pilote-moi, in time for my Cole Porter record.
Anytime, baby. Amène-moi, chérie, oh dans les cieux, oh dans l'air infini, allons tous deux. Ce bel avion fleuri est fait pour nous. Nous vivrons grâce à lui nos rêves fous. Pilote-moi, pilote-moi, avec toi, chérie. Je travers l'espace. Pilote-moi, 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 avec la grande passion de l'aviation. Chérie, ce soir est qui, ce soir est qui. I have an aeroplane, entirely new, a cozy narrow plane, just built for two. I'll let you drive it, dear, and when you do, up for its private dear, we'll build and cool. Pilot me, be that pilot I need. Oh, give my ship a maiden trip, and we'll win the prize for speed. So cast away your fears, strip my gears, let me carry through. And if afraid you are of going too far, then I'll just pilot you, just pilot you.
You see, I am basically a saloon performer, and so I have learned how to cope with all those situations. On the other hand, if I've got a point to make, I can't very well sing Melancholy Baby.
When you go in at night, do you know what you're going to do? Have you got it all worked out?
Not really. It all depends upon the way I feel and the way my brain is functioning and the way my equipment is functioning, which is also very important, and on the mood of the room. Sometimes the room can tell you in no uncertain terms what it wants to hear, and so you kind of give it out to that. In my old age, I have decided that I really have to become a more appealing performer to the mass. And I felt I'm not going to sing the latest country western song, I'm not going to sing the latest rock song, but I thought all the world loves a jazz song and a funny song, and so I sang some material that I thought might be amusing in a general way, by way of its being amusing or jazzy.
Thank you very much. On my right is Gene Gamage playing drums for you. On my left is Beverly Peer playing bass fiddle. Make me so crazy and nervous up here. It occurs to me that Irving Berlin has written some marvelous songs to help Americans, all of us here, through some interesting crises. 2 world wars and a thing they called Prohibition back in the 1920s. My next song was written for the 1920s episode of American Crises, and I learned this song at my mammy's knee back in the 1930s. I don't know. Anyway, with our new freedom to travel wherever we like, given by our good President Carter, I thought I'd sing this song because it comes to mind, but instantly it goes something like this. I'm going back to Cuba. That's where I'm going. Cuba, that's where I'll stay. Cuba, where wine is flowing, and where those dark-eyed Stellas light their fellas, Panatellas. Cuba, where all is happy. Cuba, where wonderful trip to Havana. I'll hop on a ship and I'll see you in Cuba. And where those dark-eyed stellas light their fellas, Panatellas, Cuba, where all is happy, is everybody happy? Cuba, where all is gay, why don't you take a wonderful trip to Havana? I'll on a ship and I'll see you in Cuba. And I'll see you in Cuba. Over here. You're just too much and just too very, very to ever be in Webster's dictionary. And so I'm borrowing a love song from the birds to tell you that you're marvelous, too marvelous for